Have you ever wondered why some training gets results and others doesn't? Well, a lot of the time it's because you're trying to fix problems that aren't about knowledge and skills with training. How can you avoid doing that? Well, you avoid doing that with a learning needs analysis that helps you sort out all those other factors and lets you focus on the training. And the big benefit of that is actually that you can cut down a lot of what would be in the training, which might save you time, but it might also let you do more practice and actually help people get good at their jobs in the training course. So that's really the process by which that training gets impact. Let me show you in a couple of minutes a very simple learning needs analysis that I think will reveal a lot to you about what you can do differently. In this example, we're working on a course about budgeting, or an organisation has a problem with budgeting is a better way to think about it. And they're trying to see whether a course would help. And this is not a perfect goal by any means. I would actually work with them to get a neater, crisper goal than this, but it's not bad because it already identifies something that people need to do to fix this problem. They're probably losing money on projects because they're not covering the full costs, and they want to fix that. They want to recover all the full costs of their work, right? So they've got the goal, and then the question to ask is, what do they need to do? What do the people on the staff teams need to do? And then you, through your analysis process, through talking to people and thinking it through, you work that out. And that's this first set of items. So completing it quickly enough, involving different teams, not over budgeting, and then covering all the costs. Now, you would do this process for all of these areas that we identified, but let's drill into this covering all the costs one. Right. The next step is to understand this question here. Why can't they just do this? Why can't I just send them an email and say, by the way, cover all the costs in the budget, and then problem solved? If you could do that, that would be the right choice to make. So why wouldn't that work in this case? Right. This is what we're going to look through. So there's several different reasons, like not knowing how to include fractional costs, about not seeing it as their role, about not having any references, about not knowing the programs well enough to do it, wrong people being asked. Those might be related. But so different factors that would stop them from just covering all the costs if you ask them too nicely. Right. The question then is, well, which of these are to do with training? Right. And in fact, if we're training people who write the budgets, the project managers, basically, there's only one of them which is to do with a gap that they have. This one about they don't know how to include the fractional costs. So we could go away and build a course which has a big part, let's say, maybe that's not the only thing, has a big part which is about putting in fractional costs for different functions and for different sort of support services and so on, right? And that could be really useful. We could build some lovely practice tasks for that. These others, if we try and build them in a course, they're not going to work. If we've got the wrong kind of people writing the budget, well, we could try to fix that with training a little bit, and it might have some positive impact. But mainly, that's not a training problem. That's about where the senior managers have put staff or where their roles have been defined. That's not a training problem. That's actually like a management or an organizational planning question. Now, might we want to include that in senior management training? Yeah, we might. So that's a thing that we could do as well. Yeah, and then there's some others, like not understood as a project manager's role. Well, again, we can say to them in a training course, it is your role, and if they are the ones who don't understand that, then that might help a bit. But really, it's about, well, how does the organisation see it? Is the organisation treating them like it's their role to do the budget? And so on. So then you can, rather than trying to do these things which aren't about skills in a training course, what you can do is just put them where they're supposed to be and tackle them the way that suits them best, by training the managers, by working with HR to make sure the hiring processes are good, by redefining your organizational expectations of different roles, for example. Those things will have immediate and profound effects, whereas like training and hoping won't. But you can focus your training on what really will help. So that's the power of the learning needs analysis. And that's how I go about that with clients to help them get the most out of the training that they're on. Hope that's useful for you. Let me know if you've got any questions.